Hello and welcome to This Week with Ajaz Haque. It is Sunday today, 24th of January 2021. I did it my way. It was the music playing as Donald Trump departed from Washington. Biden's inauguration goes off without a hitch. 28 of Trump's cabinet members, including Mike Pompeo, have been sanctioned by China. The Broadsheet scandal assumes new proportions in Pakistan. I visited the Sialkot airport, a privately funded, privately managed airport this week. We'll talk about that briefly. We'll have a financial markets roundup, and a legend, Larry King, passed away this week. Donald Trump, as his plane took off from the Andrews Air Force Base, I did it my way, music was playing, and even Mike Pence, his vice president, declined to see him off, and he attended Biden's inauguration. A sigh of relief in Washington that no untoward incident happened, and Biden's inauguration went off very well. And Trump's crazies stayed in their houses, totally opposite of the scene that took place a couple of weeks earlier. And this assured the American public and America's allies and the peaceful transfer of power that should have happened anyway. It did happen, and it gave a lot of confidence in the system. There were three past presidents who attended with the inauguration with their spouses. That's Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Clinton. Kamala Harris is the first minority candidate and the first female president, and she was given the oath by a first Latina Supreme Court judge, Sotomayor. Biden has assumed presidency after many tragedies in his life, and he's gone through a lot, and this shows his resilience. And finally, to be president, he's likely to be one-term president because of his age, which means that in 4 years, there will be an open field for new candidates. Now, as soon as Trump left Washington, Chinese government slammed sanctions on 28 of his ex-cabinet members, led by his bulldog, Mike Pompeo. And what the Chinese said was, they interfered in China's internal affairs, undermined China's interests, offended the Chinese people, and seriously disrupted US-China relations. Now, this is quite a slap on Trump's face because he was so bullish against China, and he created more mayhem in the world than any other president. And it's very unfortunate that the US had elected a candidate like him, but good riddance. Thank God he's gone, and hopefully peace and normalcy returns. But it remains to be seen if Joe Biden can deliver. His conciliatory messages were positive, but I think it won't be long before the Republicans and Democrats are loggerheads, and there'll be plenty of obstacles in his way, but hopefully he will overcome them as best he can. Now, the Broadsheet scandal in Pakistan. A company based in Isle of Man was engaged by President Musharraf's government in 1999 to investigate 200 generals and politicians who have stashed money abroad, looted money from the country. And this investigative company traced a number of properties, a number of bank accounts, including one bank account of a Pakistani citizen with $1 billion in it. But in the 3-year period they were working on this, Musharraf's plans changed, and he made a deal with the devil, and he sat with the same politicians, brought them into the government. In one case, they detected a lot of money and assets for one politician and reported to the government, but the government asked that his name be removed, and next day he was appointed interior minister. So that kind of sabotaged the whole game. The Musharraf government in the end canceled the deal with Broadsheet. The deal was the Broadsheet will detect assets, and upon recovery, 20% of proceeds will go to them, 80% to government of Pakistan. So Broadsheet sued Pakistan government and NAB, and they won an award, and the government refused to pay for several years. and the penalty kept mounting from 17 million to 28 million when it was paid a couple of weeks ago. And now Broadsheet is the chief executive saying, the government of Pakistan still wants me to cooperate. I will refund the money provided they go after the money that we've already detected. So the opposition had a field day, first accusing the Imran Khan government, even though he had nothing to do with it. But Imran Khan has now appointed retired Supreme Court Judge Justice Azman Saeed Sheikh to head a commission of inquiry into the Broadsheet scandal, and suddenly the Pakistan People's Party and PMLN now finding faults with the commission, with the justice, and with everything else to do with Broadsheet, because a lot of assets of the PMLN PPP individuals were detected and are likely to be detected. So hopefully truth will come to fore, and some of the money that the country has lost will be recovered. Now, I had the opportunity to visit Sialkot this week and meet with the chairman of the Sialkot airport and some other key business figures. Very impressed that an entirely privately funded, privately managed, privately operated airport is doing so well. Already, several international flights are coming to Sialkot: Emirates Airlines, Gulf Air, Fly Dubai, Qatar, Air Arabia, PIA, Salam Air, and so many more. And some major international airlines are already in the discussions with the Sialkot airport. This goes to show how well the private sector can perform. And by the way, the airport is profitable, and they're completely self-financed, self-managed. They've not sought any help from the government. And so this goes to show how well private sector can do. So the government should get out of these businesses and let the private sector manage those. Government is talking about leasing out the airports, other airports in the country. However, nobody wants to do business with the government because the bureaucrats put so many conditions and ifs and buts that it becomes impossible. If the government does want to privatize, they should sell the airports, like the British government did. All the airports were sold, and they're now managed by private companies and managed efficiently. And that's the only way success can be achieved, by privatizing the airports. Now, a roundup of the financial markets. It was a good week for the market generally. S&P 500 closed at 3841, up 3.9% on the week. Nasdaq closed 13,543, up 7.4% on the week. S&P TSX closed at 17,845, 1.9% up on the week. Shanghai Stock Exchange 3608, up 1.4% on the week. Mumbai Stock Exchange was the only one down 1.3% on the week, and Pakistan Stock Exchange up 4.2% on the week. And now a television legend, Larry King, passed away at the age of 87 this week. One was used to seeing him on CNN for years and years, with his suspenders and interviewing personalities from around the world. And even though he retired from CNN, but he continued with his interviews on the Christian television network and on podcasts. And rest in peace, Larry King. We learned a great deal from him, how to interview people. He was a good listener rather than an argumentative interviewer. He was a good listener. And finally, a video went viral this week in Islamabad where a female cafe owner and her friends ridiculed their manager for his English skills. This was an utterly shameful thing. And these girls seem to be enjoying making fun of their manager and insulting him. And well, if you wanted a highly educated English-speaking manager, then you should pay the salary 4 times or 5 times and hire him. You want to be cheap and at the same time have fun at the cost of your manager. I think this is outrageous, and it should be denounced. That's it for the week. Have a nice week, and I'll see you next weekend. Thank you very much, and goodbye.